You're gonna have to give me a minute. I'll pull it together.
Take your time.
I had a condition where I was told I may never walk again. And now I'm 100% zero pain, better than I was before.
And I think the worst pain isn't the one that you go through, it's the one that you watch your loved ones go through. I just start crying because there's nothing that I could do.
Yeah. She said, I'm glad I had cancer. And I'm like, what?
And he's laughing in front of me, holding a cigar. And I looked at him and I prayed to God. I was like, I hope I don't forget this.
And I'm flying back that morning and Chelsea calls me. But she goes, my dad died.
I hope this episode makes you call your parents.
I'm just playing, I don't fight, I do pray. I only go the way of Mr. Yahweh. Try to correct me, but I'm stuck in my own ways.
Why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
I don't believe I have hatred, I just believe there is hatred.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today's episode is honestly something you should stick around for if you're looking to better your health. I've had Dr. Josh on before. We had an incredible episode about how he was able to heal his mother through the wisdom that God gave him. And he's coming on today to talk about his new book, Heal With Your Cells. But I also wanted to talk to you guys about what I've been doing that he's been putting on. And it has significantly changed my life. I'm a better husband, a better partner, a better friend. I'm so much more everything because I'm taking the right things and we're going to get right into it. Welcome back.
What's up? Hey, thanks
How
for
are you,
having me. Great.
For me, before we jump into your new book, for me, dude, the way you changed my life, I had Gary Brecka on, and he said, you wouldn't believe how many people take vitamins that they don't even need.
Yeah.
So I'm popping so many pills like I'm Whitney Houston, just dancing around my house, and I don't feel a single bit of difference.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel a little worse.
Yeah.
And then you told me to get my blood tested.
Yeah.
What kind of test was this? What did you look for?
Yeah, so I would call it an advanced cellular nutrition panel of blood work. And so when people typically go to their doctor today and get blood work done, even at some of the things we see online today, some of the bigger companies, they'll get a lot of the same markers. It's, hey, what's your total cholesterol? What are your immune system markers? A couple basic hormones, and that's kind of it. And today we have access to some really amazing blood work, being able to tell, for instance, not only what your vitamin and minerals are that you are high in or low in or you're good on, but actually looking at what's in your cell. So for instance, a few things we ran on you is okay. By the way, I just want to get permission. Is it okay for me to share a few things like the markers we ran on you?
Yeah, just don't bring up AIDS.
Yeah, of course not.
I can't make that joke.
No.
All right, I'm so sorry. Because you're a real doctor too. I'm so sorry,
It's
dude.
so funny.
I'm
No.
so sorry. I was just making a joke. Yeah,
No.
you could talk about anything that you saw in my blood work.
Okay. All right. So all that being said, we looked at a lot of micronutrients. And so most people, when they go to their doctor, again, it's cholesterol, it's what's your thyroid hormone. They're not looking at what are your magnesium levels? How about selenium? How about folate? How about zinc? And so I'm always trying to look at the root cause of, okay, why does somebody have low energy or infertility or low testosterone or hypothyroidism or whatever it is? And most of the time when we're looking at some of these blood markers, we're looking at things that are sort of what I'd call downstream. Okay. So they're not the root cause, they're further downstream. And so when we go furthest upstream, nutritional deficiencies are one of the biggest things. So for instance, if somebody's deficient in vitamin D, that throws their hormones off, weakens their immune system, weakens their bones. Nothing functions well.
May I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
You've got me on some plan, and one of them is vitamin K3D or whatever.
Vitamin K2 plus D3.
Okay. I know this sounds stupid, but I just kind of wanted to see what the difference would be. I didn't jump on my diet right away.
Yeah.
And I didn't jump into the gym trying to work out. I wanted to see how big of a difference it would be just taking the vitamins. I didn't get sick at all. All the people around me kept getting sick, didn't get sick.
That's true.
My energy was through the roof. This gentleman played college ball, and I played 100 games of basketball up, I wouldn't stop. It felt like I was back in high school, where I just had dude, before you checked my blood and gave me these vitamins, if I went to the gym and I did anything, I'd be exhausted within 30 minutes, so demotivated. Stress of work would be so hard on me. I would not be able to focus on my work because I'll be tired. My body would be aching. Is that all just from vitamin D?
Actually, do I have your permission to share just a couple of things I found in your blood work?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so two main things that were causing low energy. One is vitamin D was below 30.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other one is, and this is sort of unique. So people can have genetic variants, and there's something called MTHFR that's connected to how well you methylate. Methylation is tied to how well your body can create energy and also to a degree glutathione, which is for detoxification. And you have actually 2 genetic variants, both MTHFR genetic variants. So, and by the way, everybody has genes that make them more susceptible to something. Like, for instance, my mom has certain genes that increase your risk of breast cancer. And I have a genetic variant where my body doesn't convert vitamin D well. For you, your genetic variant that we found was poor methylation. And so that means...
What does that do? Is that energy?
So it is. It can be very tied to energy, absolutely.
Why am I still the most hyper, and why do everybody tell me to shut up and you talk too much? Why I'm still like...
Well, actually, I mean, that can be tied to methylation too. But a lot of times you can be... I don't know if you've ever felt like this. Sometimes you can be wired, but kind of like but tired.
Oh...
And that's...
Sir, can be every day. Every day.
And that's the epitome of that... the genetic variant you have when you're depleted. That's how you'll feel. You'll feel wired, but tired. And so what we can do is there are certain forms of vitamins we can do. And for you, it's certain forms of B vitamins. And when we get, and some other things, and when we get those in your body, now your body can increase methylation. And so now that energy that's low here and this sort of almost, frazzled in the right word, but it's sort of wiredness. Now your energy comes up to meet that, and you stop feeling the wired but tired feeling.
I have wept many times since I started taking the vitamins. Cried because I would push myself because my dad never taught me to sit around and feel bad for myself.
Yeah.
So if I watched him push through pain, I'm going to push through pain.
Yeah.
But I'm 33, dude. And I felt like when I was feeling my body, I was like, dude, I feel like I'm 43 or 53. It didn't make sense to me. I would cry walking around the house because I feel like I'm 21 again, and I thought that would never happen. Yeah. And it's truly because of what people told me. It was my bad eating problems, like fast food every day. And that, I mean, the guy who owns McDonald's doesn't even eat McDonald's. That's kind of crazy, right?
Hey, we saw that
kind of
video.
changed the way I look at it.
Isn't that crazy?
Now I only get one Happy Meal and I'm out, and then that's it. And then 2, I have other things that I add in my life, smoking, hanging out, sleeping up late, sugars, and I want to talk about this because everybody says, when you get older. What is it about a child or somebody who's 18 and less could eat whatever they want, do whatever they want, and then just keep running it? Because there is gentlemen that I've met throughout life that are genetically there. Are there vitamins just on key? Like, what is it?
So the big reason why we age is as we get older, our body isn't able to repair as quickly. And so really, when you think about it, like someone in their 40s or 50s, their body is actually just as capable typically, or it could be, of athletic performance. The problem is that they can't recover enough for their body to withstand the high amount of training they're doing.
Like aching? Like when they wake up and they're, I'm aching.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, you can wear down the joints and the tissues and then have more inflammation in those areas. But I would say there's a few things. As you age, your body doesn't repair as well, but it also, you start to feel and notice those nutritional deficiencies even more. And so, especially, think about it. If you eat bad for 1 month, you're not going to be that deficient typically. But if you do eat bad for 10 years, it's going to add up.
Yeah.
And that's most people. I mean, I see it all the time. So when I run these advanced blood panels, there are so many people who, most doctors, they don't run these markers at all. But the other thing is they're really deficient in nutrients. And sometimes if somebody's deficient in one single nutrient, if they're really depleted, it can totally wreck their health. I mean, if somebody's really deficient in B12, they're going to be exhausted. If somebody's really deficient in vitamin D, their immune system's absolutely shot. If they're deficient in zinc, their immune system's depleted. If they're deficient in omega-3s, their risk of a heart attack is incredibly high.
He's like, you mind if I bring up everything? And he just goes list by list.
Actually, with your blood work...
Was I bad? Was I bad?
No, listen, everybody...
He said he was scared. When he looked at my tongue, he went, you can't go on tour, you'll die. And I was like, what?
I did not. Here's what I said. I said, your body, I can tell, is nutritionally depleted. And if you go and tour for like, you were telling me you were going to go tour for like 6 months.
I did.
And stay up all
3
night and work that much. And I was like, I was honestly, sincerely concerned because I love you guys. You guys are amazing people doing amazing work for God. And I love that. So I will admit, I definitely was concerned when I looked at your tongue and I saw some deficiency there. And then you told me you were going to go and like work for like 80 hours a day and stay up all night. So yes, I
will say this, life is an interesting thing and I'm extremely blessed. I grew up where everybody's like, hey, stop talking. And God blessed me with a platform where I just hang out with kids. Or I keep saying kids, but we're adults. But I find it very fun that one day another grown man asks me, let me see your tongue. And then, okay, I want to just pause right there because when I always break down what you do, that's the first thing I do. I go, bro, homie looked at my tongue and knew exactly what he needed to do. What is it about the tongue that you could see, and where did you learn this? Is this Chinese medicine?
It is. I mean, now let me say this. Greek medicine, when you think about people like Hippocrates and a lot of these ancient physicians, I mean, they would look at the tongue as well. I mean, so it's not just Asian medicine. It's also, I would say, is more Middle Eastern and even Indian, like Ayurveda. So they would look at it as well. But think about your tongue is the beginning of your entire digestive tract. And then your digestive tract is connected to pretty much every organ in your entire body. And so you can tell so much from looking at somebody's tongue. So if somebody's tongue is, it should be a bright, vibrant pink and be smooth on the edges and have no coating. That's what a really healthy tongue looks like.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, it looks better.
Thank
But if it's pale, that's a blood deficiency. That means ferritin or iron is typically off. We need to go and build that. If there's a coating, there's some overgrowth typically of bad microbes. If there's bite marks, like those ridges on the edges, that's
those.
Digestive weakness. That tends to be from overthinking and overanalyzing everything. It's not worry, but it's a form of. So constantly having your brain on nonstop, not turning it off, that tends to be what causes that issue.
Oh, it's so interesting. Why is it that the overthinking creates is it just tension in your mouth? Kind of like TMJ?
Actually, in terms of why ridges are formed, now the blood makes sense because it's pale. The coating makes sense because that's just coming up all the way from the digestive tract. The ridges, I'm actually not completely certain what creates the ridges itself.
So I don't, and I want you guys to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't stress, but I obsess.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
I don't sit there and be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I very much believe in my God handles it all. Yeah. But what I do is my mom used to tell me, God gave you a brain, use it. So I'll sit there and I'll think, okay, there's a plan A. Okay, plan A is great. Well, what's plan B? Okay, plan B needs to be different from plan C. So it's not that I'm panicking, but I just have these layers in my brain.
Hey, let me ask you this. Is weightlifting a form of stress? Like lifting weights?
Does it stress you out?
Is it a form of stress, though?
I guess you stress your muscle.
Stress. That's right. So I just want to bring this up. Everybody thinks, let me say this, type A personalities that tend to be really courageous, even like yourself, where you don't worry, you don't worry at all. By the way, because I'm wired like this, and so I know this. We think, oh, I'm not stressed out. But stress does not just it's not just tied to worry. You can have different types of stresses. So for you, there's a mental stress happening. It's not a fear-based stress. It's not a worry-based stress. But trying to take on too much, it's like, hey, maybe you're bench pressing, whatever, 225. And you're like, hey, I think I can do 400. There's just a big, so sometimes it's like, not taking, like you don't want to buckle. That's the thing. Like you want to do be pushing the right amount of weight, having the right amount of things on your plate. But if you go too heavy, that's where you injure yourself. And you can do that. I mean, it's...
in the world of influencers, when we came into this industry 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we had to do it all. We had to do the lighting, the directing. You're getting into it now. So you're realizing, I got to shoot, I got to edit. And now the whole world has kind of opened up to it, right? They were things that we would call burnouts. Reed and this man, if I did not have this man in the right hand of me,
God would have long fingernails.
Yeah, super long fingernails.
Yeah,
like a kitty cat. God blessed me with him. He was able to work hard next to me where he got burnt out. And so, where is it healthy and not healthy? Because as men here, I think you know this more than all, our main objective is roof above our families' heads, and we need to establish the will of God. and we got to love our neighbor, love our God. This comes with a lot of work. Sometimes it's hard for us to kick back. I mean, dude, for you have people that are truly sick coming to you.
Yeah.
Me, I'm trying to bring laughter into the world. Where does it become acceptable to hang back? Because I fall in and out of being either way too much or too complacent.
Have you guys watched The Chosen?
Like
It's
most
hard,
of the
man.
first
We
season.
can't do it. It's so hard. Because, dude, it wrecks us. Like,
Okay, I cried every episode.
Yeah,
There is not a single episode where I didn't cry.
dude, thank
Of course
you.
not.
And I had Dallas Jenkins on my show, and one of the things that I told him when he was on is I said, I think you guys did a really good job. Listen, you can't do it perfectly because no one's like Jesus, but I think when I picture Jesus, you guys, Jonathan Rumi,
Nailed it.
Oh,
did
yeah.
such a good job. And here, the single biggest thing I noticed about Jesus in that show, he's never rushing. Like I'm always rushing, trying to do something, whatever. And there's just this like calm and peace and serenity.
Yeah.
And so I do think, again, and I'm worried so much like you were, like I want to change the world. I want to run to win the race. I want to do everything. But I think that I think that there's an element of if you believe that God is with you and working for you, and it's not all on you because it's really all on Him.
Amen.
I think you start to rush less, and and here's the other thing I really meditate on. And by the way, kids completely changed me in such an incredible way, and this is the one way it changed me the most. I used to think that God wanted me to be just ultra productive and doing things and advancing His kingdom all the time. But then now being a father, I have a 2-year-old and 6-year-old daughters. Like, I don't want them just working all the time. I want them laughing. I mean, the greatest joy as a parent is like watching your little girls laugh and giggle and have fun. I love that. Now, listen, my daughter, like she just got into swimming. So like we're training, we're working hard on that. We want her to excel in school and those things. And it brings joy to my heart too, to see her being able to use her God-given gifts to bring God glory. But honestly, even more, like I want my girl to be at peace. I want her to be happy. And so I think that God wants the exact same thing for us. He wants peace. He wants rest. He wants us to be happy. And He wants us to work hard too. But I think it's finding that balance is important. And listen, your body will tell you to a degree if you're living out of balance.
I'm in that season now. It's so funny because this is... when I was on Impulsive, I was so excited to be on that show. And I remember being so grateful to God that I said, Lord, look how many people watch me. If you have to break me down and then rebuild me up so that way people could see what it looks like, I pray that you use me for your will. And dude, I gained so much weight. I got so out of shape. I got so anxious, so depressed. I've never gone through these type of things before. And slowly but surely, I'm starting to work out all of these things one by one. Problems I never had before in my life. Like being anxious or depressed never was in my vocabulary before. Thank God now it's not either. But how to deal with that was be still and know that He's God.
That's so good.
I sat down with myself and I asked God to help me reflect. And this is where I came to. My job isn't to be the biggest stand-up or the best podcaster. My job is to love God with all my heart and love my neighbor. And those two jobs that He assigned to me is the will of the Father.
Yeah.
And they're the least stressful things to do.
Totally.
And so I think when I overstress, I replace Him as God in my life and I become God. And I start building this Tower of Babel, and that's when my temple falls down.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
this is kind of where I've been at.
Who was it that, was it Peter? That when he was on the boat and when God needed to work in his life and he could have been stressing and worrying and he was about to get killed, but instead he went to the bottom of the boat and he slept.
That's right. Yeah, they're in the middle of this crazy storm and he's sleeping.
That's actually a really cool thing because there's a foreshadow of Noah. So when, Jonah went to go to release the Assyrians and tell them, hey, repent. But Jonah was so sad because he hated the Assyrians, he wanted them to be dead. And he didn't want anything to do with anything. So he was in so much mourning that he went to the bottom of the boat and slept and wept and slept. And so then the waves started crashing and everybody on the boat was panicking. And then they also called out to God on that boat. But when Jesus was there, He was peacefully resting while I was waiting. And then He says, which one of you could gain a minute to their life by stressing?
Right.
But actually in that time, in the Bible verse, He actually says, you of little faith. And then he looks at the storm and goes, shh. And it just goes, which, by the way, if we're going to bring up that Bible verse, every storm in my life was handled by my mouth, which is hilarious because you're saying the whole body is like, it starts first with the tongue. And the gospel says in the beginning, Jesus spoke,
yeah.
we're made in his image, and now we speak. He also says life and death begins on the tongue. Do you know what I did before even you and I worked together? I would talk about, I'm going to get my body healed.
Yeah.
The Lord's going to give me wisdom.
So good.
The Lord is going to provide a way. And then somehow, some way, we sit down, I get on the phone with you, and you said, hey, I really think you should do this blood panel thing. And by the way, she knows more than anything. I never go to the doctors. Like, I don't have time.
He has a cracked rib right now.
Don't bring that up.
How'd you do that?
Basketball.
Yeah.
But honestly, the pain went away after 2 weeks. So I don't know if it's broken. Right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you could have sprained it. You could,
Yeah.
I mean, the pain typically from a break, I mean, it's 3 to 4 weeks typically goes away,
okay,
but
maybe.
maybe you're healing fast.
Yeah,
It just depends.
yeah.
I'm Wolverine.
You know, there's a peptide stack called the Wolverine stack.
Okay, let's talk about peptides,
Oh,
man.
wow.
Because, like, dude, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to inject myself with anything. And by the way, throughout life, I always see people do it. I'm like, wow, look, they got steroids, great, heroin. Look, he's dancing. But I've never wanted to ever inject myself with anything.
Well, let me say this first. Peptides are not steroids. So peptides are, by the way, there's a lot of things that people don't realize are peptides. Of course, insulin's a peptide. Creatine is a peptide. Glutathione is a peptide. So
does it have a bad rep? Because here's what I'm worried about. And I'll ask the question that every American wants to know. Are we the guinea pigs? Are we going to be the ones that when our children are watching cartoons in the morning, they're like, did you suffer from blah, blah, blah? You are entitled to this amount of money. And then we're sitting here being like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think so. Here's the thing. I do think that peptides need to have oversight like the supplement industry, or not quite to the degree of the medical industry, because I think they're a natural substance. But I mean, here's the important thing to know.
What does that mean, natural? How is it natural?
Well, it's something that when I think of natural, it's something that's naturally occurring in something we might eat, for instance. So if you go, like, you guys are familiar with like glandulars and organs, like you could eat liver, right? Something like that.
Paul Saladino is a big fan of that.
That's right. Organs are very high in peptides. So like, and by the way, when you hear BPC 157, probably the most popular peptide today.
That is in the Wolverine thing.
The Wolverine bond.
Yeah.
That is found in your own stomach acid and your gastric lining. That's naturally occurring. TB500, which is in that same stack, that's found in your thymus gland. That's naturally occurring. And so my point is that a lot of these peptides are naturally found in organs, and you naturally get some. And here's another thing I would say. You know, if you eat an orange today, you're getting about 80 milligrams of vitamin C. Okay. But if you take a vitamin C supplement, you're getting about 1,000 milligrams. So it's a higher dosage of a vitamin. I would think about peptides in the same way. It's something naturally occurring in organs. If you would eat an organ meat, and even some food, you're going to get it too, like collagen peptides. Of course, those are peptides. You're getting that in food. We're just concentrating it and making it into a higher dosage. Now, I do think, here's the problem. A lot of people are getting this stuff from China. It's not even, the peptides don't even have what they say they're in there. But if you have a compounding pharmacy in the United States and they're making BPC 157, TB500, Epitalin, these peptides that actually do have some research and some substantiation, I think they're completely safe and effective, way more safe and effective than medications. And the benefits I've seen with people with some of these peptides are incredible. Like I had this spinal infection, and almost died from it, didn't walk for a year. And that peptide blend, it was so incredibly helpful in getting me pain-free, getting me walking again. And I've used it with people with inflammatory bowel disease. So my point is, I do think you need to be careful and wise, but I think some of the more mainstream peptides, if you get it from a compounding pharmacy or through a physician, have loads of health benefits.
I want to unpack that though, because is it the same as like when people are doing the weight loss thing? What is it called?
GLP-1s.
Yeah, is that a peptide?
It's a peptide. Here's the thing I want to say though. There's this ancient saying, and it's this: the dose determines the medicine or the poison. So I really think that if GLP-1s, basically what they do is they slow gastric emptying. So the food sits there longer. So you don't get full. I mean, that's part of what's happening. But when you're doing GLP-1, I think the dose is too high. I think if you went to 1/10 the dose, and they call this microdosing, that's what a lot of people are doing. I think if you did that, along with eating enough protein, getting enough, doing some weight training ideally, I think it's probably not that bad for you then. But I think the dose is so high that it's causing people to lose a lot of muscle mass. In fact, there are studies showing you lose 40%, if not 50% of the weight you lose on your body is muscle mass. So think about this. If somebody loses 40 pounds,
20.
They might lose 20 pounds of muscle. You know how long? I mean, you know how long it takes to put on 20 pounds of muscle?
Right.
I mean, that's extremely damaging. And muscle isn't what we think it is. Your muscle is an organ. Your muscle determines your blood sugar and insulin. I mean, it does so much more than people think.
Is that why people are losing their bone density?
Exactly. Yeah. You lose muscle, you're going to likely lose bone density as well. I mean, there's loads of problems with GLP-1s, but that's one of them.
With peptides, I want to go back to this because it feels like a miracle. This is what I see from the outside in, right? I see that America gave us no food or fake food.
Yeah.
Taught us a terrible habit in school about working out and eating and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, years later, when everybody's fat, obese, unhealthy, wrecked, they're like, whoa, we got these things here for you. And by the way, it's natural. You just inject it and we'll rework all that crap you guys did in the last 15 years. Is this a setup? Because in my mind, it just feels, if you know what the mob does, the mob causes a problem so they could help the problem.
Yeah.
And I feel like the government is mobbing us right now.
You know what? Let me say this. I don't know if it's a setup. I just think it's lack of wisdom.
Amen.
I mean, that's just what I think it is. I think, and here's the thing. Like, I'll give an example of this with our food system today. Agriculture, the best thing to do is do what we call regenerative agriculture, which is just honestly God's agriculture, where it's like you are having animals graze on plants. You let the land rest every 7 years. You're rotating your crops and you're practicing regenerative agriculture, and you're not spraying everything with chemicals and pesticides and herbicides. But that's what's happening today. We could do regenerative agriculture. Every farm could do it if they took about over 7 years. And we could feed the entire world this way. The problem is they're like, no, we just want to do as many soybeans and corn and soy as we can, and we're actually destroying our food today. It has so many less nutrients than it did 100 years ago.
We could feel it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's from Paris, and when I go to other places in Europe, it could be Paris, it could be Italy, it could be Greece. When I'm eating their food,
it tastes different.
No, dude, I'm losing weight.
It's more nourishing. You're losing. It's so
It's like
different.
America. You know what it feels like? You know how they always make a joke about North Korea, how it's fake. They have like fake setup.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we are. We have fake food. We have a fake setup. But I want to go back to the peptides because now it just looks like I'm gossiping, which I am. I'm worried about peptides because I heard that my extensive amount of studying is scrolling on TikTok.
Sure.
So nothing I have is legitimate. But I heard that the peptides that help your cells regenerate don't know what cell's good or bad. So if God forbid you have cancer, it would rapidly grow the cancer.
Well, let me say this. There's lots of things. So our bodies, and this is an ancient Asian medicine principle, but it's also scientific today. You want your body to both be highly regenerative and highly cleansing. So it's like remodeling your home. You want your body to be getting rid of the bad materials. You got water damage, you got termite damage. We got to get rid of that stuff. We need the new materials, and we need to rebuild. Okay. Yeah. So you want both of those things. We call it being anabolic, kind of like anabolic steroids, but in a good way, where your body's able to regenerate and heal quickly. And you want your body to be able to cleanse and get rid of the bad things quickly, both simultaneously.
Fasting.
Now, fasting is very catabolic and cleansing. Eating grass-fed meat and weight training, that's very anabolic.
Got it.
And you need both. You need to have both. So with peptides, and by the way, the one you're talking about is BPC-157, and it increases something called angiogenesis. And this is where, you're in the gym and you get a really good pump, like with your bicep, and you're like, your veins are like, you feel like a little. Part of what happens post that or with that is this angiogenesis. Your body starts creating new blood vessels. It's typically very good and healthy. You want that. So does weight training cause cancer? No, so my point with this is I saw that rebuttal. I saw that topic. Just because something increases angiogenesis doesn't mean it's bad. Now, do you want angiogenesis happening directly around cancer cells? Probably not, because it could increase its proliferation and its spreading. So I would never recommend anybody that currently has cancer to take BPC-157.
Would you have known if I, God forbid, had cancer in the blood test that you had?
No, but sometimes. So like if I saw in your blood work some of your immune markers were highly elevated and off, like your white blood cells, for instance, that would then tell me we need to then test for cancer. Or let's say, now I will say this too, if I have somebody come in and I see their vitamin D and their zinc and vitamin A and a lot of these immune markers are really on the floor, there's no doubt statistically that somebody's risk of cancer is highly elevated. Same with low omega-3 intake. So can I tell if somebody directly has cancer with that test I did with you? No. But could it definitely give a really strong indication with certain types of cancers? Certainly.
And then, I'm so sorry, just one more question. Why was it that you looked at my blood panel and felt like I wasn't in need for peptides right now? Like, when does it become...
Yeah.
Because think about it, I was floored, right? I was on the ground. I have a company to run. And I'm watching... It sometimes gets a little demotivating when you're doing the same amount of work next to your partner, and your partner is just like burning off that way and growing muscle quick. Yeah. So at what point does somebody say... Because I know your situation, it makes sense. But when would it make sense for me?
Well, one, I mean, by the way, I have to make this decision with every patient I care for, and it's this. What can they handle? Where are they at financially? Like what, so, cause I have some people, like for instance, I just came from, I mentioned I was doing Alex Clark's podcast. I gave her advice, and if I give her advice, she just does it. Same thing. Like there's certain people, if I give them advice never mind. I'll say this in a second.
Wait, we're going to say me, but then realize I didn't do yours?
No, here's what I was going to say.
What?
I mean, listen, here's
he
where...
looked at my belly, too.
No, hold on.
Actually, never mind.
Here's where George sits. George sits right in the middle, and you like to cherry pick the parts you want to take. But listen, that's way better than doing nothing. Again, listen, I have 3 categories of people, okay? I have people that just don't do anything. I have the cherry pickers.
I'm working my progress.
You're doing great. No, and it's sometimes it's taking these gradual steps forward, and some people are all in. So my point is, what I typically do with patients is when I give them a care plan, what I do is I will give them a ranking list of the top supplements that would likely help them in ranking order. And I typically put about 10 on there, because I will have some people that will go and take 10. And I'll have some people will say, what's the one thing that helps me the most? And they'll take just the one. Now, the average person does about 4, They're like, okay, that's about what I think I can handle.
I've been taking all the stuff you told me.
You're crushing that. Way to go.
My wife does yell at me. And she made it so easy. She put it right next to my toothbrush.
I made it nice and pretty for him.
I mean, honestly, women keep men alive. That's a fact. There was a study I read recently on like when a dad has daughters, they live much longer than if they have boys.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the daughters take care of them and love them.
They're like the boys always run off, and then the girls they'll take care of the parents.
That's true.
More. Yeah. So anyways, all that being said, but
they give life and keep life.
But let me say this. I mean, listen, you went and got blood work ordered for your parents. I mean, you're being a good son. You're being a good son there. So all that being said, the reason why peptides, like I didn't put that directly on yours, was I was looking at like if somebody is not healing well, I typically will do peptides. If somebody has inflammatory bowel disease, I tend to do a good amount of peptides. If somebody has really severe mitochondrial deficiency, I might do that too. But with you, it was more of a, okay, there's methylation, there's vitamin D, there's some dietary things. It just wasn't, it was like tier 4, right? I mean, there was things just so much more important that would move the needle for you more. I mean, listen, if you said, hey, I want to, or let's say you have an injury in the future, peptides would be a no-brainer to recover from the injury. So it wasn't just a top tier thing for you.
Well, praise God. Like anytime, I hate to say this because it feels like I don't believe in jinxing, whatever. Praise God. Every time I do get injured, I heal up really quick.
Yeah,
I do heal up really quick.
That's great.
And I also I don't know why I feel like I don't know if this is a wrong way to think about it, but in my brain, I'm like, peptides to me is like, it's not for me right now. Like, God forbid if I need it, then I'll need it. But in my brain, I just all I think about is my mom and dad and how hard they worked.
Yeah.
And in my brain, I can't justify taking peptides right now when I'm too lazy to have a good balanced meal. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think it's cheating for me to put me a needle to give me everything, but then I won't have the food that got placed in front of me. But I'll be careless and go through a drive-through. So I want to handle my obedience to my body, because I think that just going straight to the needle is not. It's going to heal it, but it's not healing the
root cause.
The root cause
Agreed.
of me being like.
Totally.
I'm keep using the word obedient, but more disciplined.
Yeah.
Listen, I totally agree. If somebody wants to heal, you really want to work on the foundations, and the foundations are good sleep, keeping stress low, and that typically comes from a great relationship with God and spending time,
Amen,
in prayer and in reading of God's word. So it's sleep, it's stress, it's movement, and it's just eating well. I mean, if somebody's doing those foundational pieces, those are by far the most important things. And then that second tier is things like supplementation and some of the other accessories.
So just to move on from peptides.
Yeah.
Is it a higher version of vitamins?
No, it's not a higher version of vitamins. It's just a different thing your body needs. And so it sits, I would put it in the kind of micronutrient category in a way, even though, so the way it works is you've got protein, which are long chains of amino acids. An amino acid is just a single molecule. And then you've got peptides, which are shorter chains of, they're like a short protein. Those are what peptides are. So they are really critical for cellular signaling. So for your body to communicate, because one of the things that peptides do is they will tell your body, regenerate this area. Boost immunity. So they improve cellular communication. So they do something completely different than most vitamins and minerals, but they're all essential. I mean, I would kind of put them on that same line of where, okay, you need protein, you need some good healthy fat, you need some, quality fiber and maybe some carbohydrates. And then right up from that is you need vitamins, you need minerals, you need peptides, you need enzymes, you need probiotics. There's that whole category of things that are really essential to your body as well. But again, you're going to get peptides in some foods as well.
Like the liver and stuff like that.
Yeah. But
what is it like? Is it a forever thing? Like the vitamins that I'm taking, do I take them forever? The peptides, is it something that they have to take forever?
Well, it just depends on. It depends so much on your lifestyle and what you're doing. Like, so for instance, can I mention one other marker you were a little low?
Yeah.
I mentioned already, your vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's say you were under a really stressful season and you were inside a lot and you are doing editing and things like that. And so your vitamin D drops lower and lower and lower. And let's say you're in the 20s. Well, now we're supplementing. But let's say, you're in a new season of life, you guys have kids, and you're you're outdoors with them all the time now. You're outside playing baseball or basketball or whatever you're doing with your kids. And next time I test, your vitamin D's, I don't know, let's say you're in the 50s and you're getting sunshine regularly. I'm probably like, hey, you know what? You don't need vitamin D right now. So, I mean, you'll get to the point if you supplement regularly, or even more importantly, get sunshine where, you don't need it. So I think because you get in on a vitamin doesn't mean you need to be on it the rest of your life. It just... And by the way, different things eat up vitamins more. Like certain medications will cause you to churn through a lot of vitamins. Toxicity, your body will use a lot of B vitamins and selenium.
So like drinking and smoking.
Yeah, your body will eat up typically a lot of B vitamins and selenium and things that are required for glutathione if you, with smoking, with alcohol and any type of...
By
anything
the way,
that's
when you told him about his vitamin D that he was deficient, and you're like, because he has brown skin, the melanin in his skin was really low. First, I think it was the first week that he started taking the vitamin D, the color of his skin literally came back, and it's not because he tanned.
Is that weird?
The melanin literally came back.
It's weird, but that's what should happen. Yeah,
it was wild. Like we literally saw his skin. I'm like, you didn't even go tanning, and it just came back.
I mean, one of the best things you could do right now is just go out and in sunbathe for 20 minutes.
I love being outside.
Now, you might literally be cooked like when I got, dude, it's supposed to be like 115 degrees here today.
Dude, imagine being in the sky and a metal, like a little tiny little Prius in the air, and it's just shaking like this. Bro, there's so many times when I'm learning how to fly, I ask the pilot to like grab it because I'm about to yak. because it's so hot and so spinny. And I'm just like this, and in my brain, I'm like, why am I doing this in the summer, bro? Like, this is terrible.
Yeah,
Arizona.
Oh, man.
But it's so bipolar. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Before we move on totally from the peptides, because I want to talk about glutathione.
Yeah.
Because I know that it's all the rage, right? And I think that's certainly like on my end of things when it comes to my reels and my algorithm, all the girls take the glutathione to start their day. I've started taking glutathione to start my day because I'm just trying to figure out things like, I don't know, my skin just freaks out sometimes from random times. And so a lot of girls have been taking it because it gives them clear skin.
Yes.
So how do you feel about glutathione? Is it for everybody? Is it a long-term thing?
My entire viewpoint is all about personalized medicine. So for certain people, it might be the greatest supplement they could ever take. For some people, it's just not necessary. They're throwing their money in the trash. So it just really depends upon the person, the type of their unique genetics, their emotions they're experiencing regularly, the different type of stress they have, what their diet's like. So there's a lot of things there, but I will say this. I do think, now my favorite, so there's typically two ways to get glutathione. One is through a supplement called NAC, N-acetylcysteine, which is the precursor to glutathione, which means your body can take it and turn it right into glutathione. The other one is to typically take what we call a liposomal glutathione.
Oh, that's with Ro.
Yep. Yeah. They have that one. There's a few brands that have
Symbiotica.
liposomal. Exactly. Yep. So they will take those, and your body can absorb it into the cell better than, let's say, a standard glutathione. I tend to, for most people, like N-acetylcysteine a little bit more. I find it to be more effective if people have lung conditions. I find it to be more effective for most people. But I do think liposomal glutathione can also be great. But its big benefit is it's supporting liver detoxification. And this surprises a lot of people. But your liver is an organ that is crucially responsible for hormone balance, especially estrogen. So one of the biggest reasons why women get acne and redness on their skin has to do with high estrogen. Excess estrogen. And so if you take N-acetylcysteine, your liver it has more power to be able to get rid of that excess estrogen faster. Another thing that's really beneficial for that is eating steamed or baked cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, all those types of foods are going to be helpful.
I've been getting a lot of cabbage. Yeah, so so that makes sense because I have a much better routine when I'm in Arizona versus LA. When I get to LA, my skin freaks out, which I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if it's the water, and then when I come back here, though, I have such a good routine. I start my day with glutathione, which I do the Symbiotica one, which has a little vitamin C, helps absorption. I also take the NAC after the glutathione. So I don't know if that's too much because I take both.
Well, I think you may, listen, I don't have research on this. I would maybe take one in the morning, one in the evening, something like that, and spread those out. Okay. But it may not make that big of a difference. I don't have any certain supplements you store. And so it doesn't matter if you take, 10,000 IUs at one time or 1,000 spread out over time. Certain vitamins, like B vitamins, you're actually better off having some in the morning, some at lunch, and some at dinner, because your body will excrete them. It can only handle so much at a time. Right. So it just really depends. And so with the glutathione combined with the N-acetylcysteine, I don't know, but either way, it is a really great. There are some studies on combining glutathione or N-acetylcysteine with glycine, that amino acid, and it's known as one of the best longevity supplements out there potentially. So I love. By the way, that's one that I take every day. Because I think it's phenomenal.
I thought glutathione was a detoxing thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It supports the liver.
So you can take it every day?
You can't, because it's a gentle detox. It's not like going and doing activated charcoal or doing like a strong parasite cleanse or something like that. It's not going to overwhelm your digestive system. Let me say this. So you can detox by trying to force your liver to release more, okay? And you might do that with like milk thistle or dandelion or something like that. So it's kind of causing your body to push more. N-acetylcysteine doesn't do that. N-acetylcysteine or glutathione, it just gives your body more of what it needs to utilize to operate properly. It's like it gives it a little bit more more of a charge. So it's typically not going to have a side effect. It's typically only going to strengthen your body, not deplete it.
So pretty much, I think the best thing then that we've learned from you is to truly just get the blood test, to really know what you need and to not be flooding.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think there's so much value. There's three things that I typically look at when I'm creating a plan for most patients. I look at their history, because that's really important, because if let's say somebody has hypothyroidism or low testosterone, there are a lot of overlapping patterns I know. So if a male has low testosterone, more red meat, more weight training, better sleep, less estrogen promoting foods, those sort of things. If a woman has hypothyroidism, more foods that boost mitochondria and adrenal health. So it's more pomegranates, more wild caught salmon, more selenium, right? So I can tell a lot from a health history. That's one area I look at. I'll look at tongue diagnosis, what's going on there. And then I look at blood work. But I do think if people want to stop wasting their money, getting blood work is incredibly beneficial. But it's also doing the right markers. One of the problems is, like, you'll notice with these companies, you'll notice this online, they're like, we're doing 50 markers, we're doing 100, we're doing 1 billion. And I'm like, but a lot of them aren't doing the right markers. You know, they're not looking at the micronutrients, and they're not looking at some of the markers that are really, really important. They're just trying to do and the reason for this is some people are like, oh, I got 100 markers done. But if you got 100 markers done, and let's say a lot of these tests, they might cost, I don't know, 50 cents to do for the company to run. They're typically okay markers, but the markers that tend to be a little bit more expensive or more in-depth root cause medicine, those markers are extremely beneficial. So we talked about glutathione. I do tests. One is called F2 isopranes, and this is looking at oxidative stress for your entire body. That will really allow me to know if you need glutathione or not. And there's another one called GGT. And when I do a couple of these different markers together in selenium, I know for certain if you need glutathione or much and the exact dosage to give the person.
Was mine something like that?
No, you were good there.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't.
I was really worried about my testosterone, because all the men around me are like, yeah, my testosterone's low. And why was it that my testosterone didn't get affected at all when all the other stuff was
Here's what I would say. Your testosterone is absolutely, can I say this again? I just feel like I need permission. Your testosterone from conventional medicine standpoint was completely normal range. Yeah. However, if I'm looking at what is absolutely optimal for you, it was slightly below what's optimal. But it wasn't far off. I mean,
could it go up with the vitamins you've given me?
Yeah.
Dude,
certainly.
Okay, I said that to Belle. Okay, dude, I wanted to talk to you about this, and I totally
Well, I want to ask you this. I mean, when are you guys going to have kids? You know, your parent, I mean, are they asking yet? Or?
Dude, we have where they got us married.
Yes.
I mean, guys, testosterone's up.
That's how beautiful our guests are, though. That like they push us to like only do things that are going to be better for our lives. Like they're like, get married. They're like, have kids. You know. But we have such gracious parents, like his parents and my parents, that they're not like, come on, nagging us. They're telling us how excited they are for us, but they're letting in our timing, which is
nice,
so
great.
You know?
That's so great. Wow,
it's so funny. We were talking about it last night, and Belle and I, we're truly just two kids running around having so much fun, and we just got married.
Great. Yeah,
we both are the type of people that, like, when we have children, our life is going to be centered to them. And
you guys, by the way, you guys are going to love having kids. You guys are going to be great parents. I'm excited. It'll be awesome.
I'm very excited. You know what it is? It's just like, I know when that time starts, you can't just pause it.
Yeah.
So I just want to, I just got this house. I just got married. I want to.
I'm not trying to put pressure on you.
No, you already did.
I will say this. I do want to say this. Chelsea and I waited. I think I had my first kid when I was 38, so I was pretty late. And then Chelsea's about 6.5 years younger than me, and we would have had. Both of us would tell you we would have had kids earlier.
No, that's what we're saying now.
Because we're just like, I mean, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever.
Somebody told me that life doesn't actually start until your kid's life starts.
Yeah. I mean, literally, there was, I'm going to say this. Because we love to just activitize and do stuff and like have fun, right? And I remember like a year ago, we were on a lake and we were riding jet skis. And it was like finally at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm like, I want to be doing this with our kids. Like all the activities that we love doing would be like a kid's dream. Like we just like to go and do stuff. And so I think we're just at a point where it's like, you want to share those activities and have fun with your kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You see a little baby here like, okay, so Doc, when...
Listen, it's not, they can sit right between you during your episode.
I still want breast milk, but Mom says, no, I'm too old. All right, sorry.
I got to tell you a quick story. So my 2-year-old is still breastfeeding right now.
2 years old?
2? How long?
Guys, hey, listen. Let me share something with you.
You pressured us about kids, right?
No,
if your baby could say, "Whip it out, I'm thirsty," I think it's too late for the baby.
Oh,
to be-
listen, I hear all day, I want milk from our 2-year-old. So,
Wow.
I in the natural health community, a lot of families will go almost up till 3. I mean, I'd say would be common, but and there's no wrong way to do it. But here is my point is, so my mother-in-law is there, and our 2-year-old, like my wife wasn't there, and so she looks over and she goes, do you have milk?
No.
No.
Oh yeah. And my mother's like, no, sorry, I know. Oh yeah.
Wait, that's like what's that movie? There's a movie like that where, oh man, it sucks because I just don't know the name of the movie. But yeah, the kid's like even worse though. He's like 4 or 5, and he
No,
goes up to.
Yeah. This is the Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah,
Oh yes.
Dude, this is his real life. What are you doing?
Well, let me say this. I will.
Cracking a joke on him, bro.
I will say, when I was doing
Were you breastfed until 6'2"? Is that why you're jacked?
2.
I was breastfed till I was probably about 2. Right before 2, I think my mom's told me that before. But so here's something that's so when I was right before I became a doctor, I remember I was at a birthday party, and my friend's, the doctor's wife, the child went up and started breastfeeding at this thing, and the kid was almost 4. So anyways, I just want to say, in the natural health community,
When does the mother cut it off? Is it like does the body ever say, hey, you're cut off?
Well, here's the thing. When you have your second child, or a child thereafter, a lot of times the breast milk will change flavor. It'll actually sometimes have a level of sourness to it, so it naturally weans the child off, and they stop. No, listen, it's the innate intelligence and wisdom that God put in the body is really incredible, because I think a woman gets to the point where the body knows, I'm building another body. We can't handle this sort of stress. Some of the nutrients change, and it sort of, causes the child to not want to. It naturally weans the child off. Sorry, you guys probably didn't think we were talking about this today. I didn't either.
No, I would.
this is super
If we're going to
interesting.
dive into this, there's some questions that I want to know from a doctor's perspective.
Yeah.
My wife is breastfeeding. If we're intimate, does the body know when to cut it off? Does it know that I'm an adult? Like, what happens here?
Listen,
I just want to know. And also, is the tab open for every? I'm so sorry. Her parents are right here. I'm so sorry. Hey, you guys had kids. This is your kid.
14 months. Sean breastfed 14 months.
That's
great.
almost 2 years.
She was dumb, yeah.
okay.
Funny story. She wanted.
You don't have a mic, so you got to hurry up the story. So we can tell it for you. No, you got to do it.
Yeah, we want to hear the story.
She would come. She'd ask for it.
Oh yeah.
She was always,
So Belle's mom says that she was also 2 and would walk up to
14 months.
18 months. But she could walk.
a year and a half.
That's a year and 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how old I was. I imagine I called my mom. She was like, "You were 6." And I was like, "Oh." No, but no, that's an actual question. Like, when is it?
I mean, listen.
When does it stop? When does it go? How do you know? Is it bad for adults? Like, what's going on?
I mean, typically, listen. There's a lot
We're
of
talking about this, dude. I know that there's somebody out there that wants to know this.
listen.
All right.
There's a lot of things that will cause breast milk supply to stop. I mean, there are quite a few women who have challenge with milk supply. Some of that is due to, I think, with stress hormones get high, nutritional deficiencies. Like my wife, we always make lactation cookies. So we make these massive batches that have like fennel and fenugreek and a number of things in these oat cookies. And we've made these for friends and family who had trouble with milk supply.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so
yeah.
sorry. Dude, my comedic brain be like, "Hey man, why is it every time my wife comes here and eats your guys' dessert, her breasts are bigger?" They're magic cookies, dude.
Oh goodness!
But
man.
that is
Yeah.
as you know, funny you think it is though, that is amazing that you can do things and you can eat these things in order to help you, you know what I mean, create more breast milk, because that is probably a big issue for people. So
yeah, and that's something like women have to be careful with the herbs they take after pregnancy. It tends to be the ones that are bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those that can dry up the milk supply. So you got to be careful like what you take after too. So.
Just to time travel back to testosterone, because I guess we're
Let's
done
do
with
it.
the booby stuff. And by the way, I had 1,000 more questions. I could
I'm
ask.
sure.
My testosterone was sitting normal. When I told people my levels, they were like, "Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's not down at all."
Right.
And then I asked you, I said, everything else is down because I just knew I was a little bit more active and hyper than a lot of people around me.
Yeah.
So I felt like my testosterone was sitting well, but I felt like it could even be higher.
Yeah.
Then you said that the vitamins could. Does it happen right away? Because it was like, I think it was week 1 or 2. Bro, I was like, I felt like I could run through a wall, but I also felt like, it sounds really cheesy, but really angry. Like if somebody tried to cut me off, like I would, like I had to like recalculate how I was dealing with my emotions, if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, listen, we talked about vitamin D. I mean, when you look at the scientific literature, the 2 nutrients that most impact testosterone are vitamin D and zinc, and vitamin D potentially number 1. So for you, when you have vitamin D that's low and then it goes up way higher, much higher like it did, it's going to increase your testosterone. It's going to increase your immunity. It's going to strengthen your bones. I mean, all of those things are going to happen. I pray that if somebody's like tired or feels like, man, it's like my bones hurt getting out of bed. Like it really hurt getting out of bed. Yeah.
I would have to take a shower to wake myself up. Dude, I wake up now like ready. Just like as soon as the day starts, I'm ready to go. And it was all because I'm taking 4 things that I wasn't taking before.
Yeah.
Life-changing. Life-changing. Does testosterone help? I know it helps when it comes to producing a baby. But if you have low testosterone, you have a baby, does that affect the baby's health?
No.
Okay. So it's just for producing life that could cause a problem.
Right.
Okay.
So, please.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, testosterone, though, it is so much lower today in men than it was.
That's why I was worried. A lot of my friends are on stuff.
50, 60 years ago. And I think it is an incredibly bad idea. And I don't want, I'm not judging anyone here, but I do think it's a bad idea for almost all men to start getting on testosterone in their 20s and 30s, even 40. I mean, I really think that you want to take the natural path there because your body starts to depend on it. It stops producing it itself. And there's a side effect of that for your body not producing itself. I mean, there's an increased risk of, I think, some issues with that are heart related. I think that from a Chinese medicine standpoint, your body, that we'd call it chi energy, is not flowing in that area like it should be. So it's just not ideal. So it's so much easier to go and improve your diet, sleep a little better, weight train a little bit, take some of the right supplements, and then when you get to be in your 60s or 70s, and if there's issues, hey, then start supplementing with the lowest dosage of testosterone. So I'm not against hormone replacement therapy if it's done after you build the foundation and do all the right things, and then do it at a point you'd really need it maybe later on.
You know what my dad used to tell me? Work to your bones in your 20s. Work really hard in your 30s. Work really hard in your 40s. Because when you get older and older, it gets harder and harder and harder. So all these kids that are just madly taking vacations and partying and drinking, and then they're like, oh, it's no problem. I'm going to take an IV, then I'm going to take some steroids, then I'm going to take this, and I'm not taking steroids. I'm going to take all these
peptides.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not the medication I'm worried about. It's the fact that these people are using it how we used Advil to get rid of a headache.
Well, I think that, and the other thing that concerns me the most is just the entire mindset of I'm going to try and find a shortcut in how to do things and just live in the gray area, And so I think that, it also reminded me of this, just kind of going off this a little bit, this guy you're talking about telling people to do steroids and who knows what else it might be. But, the thing I think that is maybe the greatest need that people have there, or one of the greatest needs up there, is just good mentors, people to be discipled by. The single greatest thing that's impacted my life positively. And by the way, I was at a point, so I went to a Christian school and had amazing Christian parents. And I had a point in college where I had 2 years where I sort of went off, drank too much, just didn't live a great life. And then I knew what it was like to have God. And so I just remember getting on my hands and knees and just saying, like, God, I just feel empty. Like life looks good, but I just feel so empty.
Parable child.
That's right.
Amen.
And I prayed and I said, God, would you send a flood? Because I recognized, though, this is what I needed. I said, God, would you send a flood of just positive Christian men into my life that I can learn from? And can I tell you what? Today, God is still doing it and answering the prayer.
Amen.
Wow.
I mean, it's like a constant flow. Now, I pursue it too and go out and try and find those people. But I've been so blessed to have men who love God, have been successful for me to learn from. And honestly, it breaks my heart to think there are so many men and women that don't have those people in their lives, because it is the greatest gift you can have. If you can go and find an amazing godly mentor, man, latch on. The other thing is, if you get that person if you have an opportunity to work with somebody like that, if they teach you something, do it. Go all out, do everything you can to be a good disciple.
Yeah. Dude, you are who you hang out with. But the sad thing is, like, for example, I'll use you as an example. When you were hanging out with your friends, you thought this was the group you should be around.
Sure.
When I was hanging around the wrong people, I thought like, oh man, this is, when you're in it, you're in it. You're in the sauce. So you're like, this is the best thing. That's what like hurts me, is like I'm trying to push people to Jesus, but also not make it look like a cult where I'm like, yo, you gotta do it or you're gonna go to hell.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude, like you're living in hell now. You're a walking dead man now, and you could be alive now, and you could have this unbelievable amount of joy and peace. Everything that I do, I pray over. Everything that I do. Before I got an assistant, he's my assistant right there. Before I met him, I called out to God and I said, Lord, I need somebody who fears you but works hard. All of these people that I lined up, I had 300 people interviewing. All of them were like, yeah, man, I could do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. And they're just telling me everything they could do. And he looked at me and said, I'd like to pray about it. I want to know if God wants me to have this job.
Oh, wow.
And I was like... I got off the phone with him. I turned to my wife. I go, that's the guy. I hope he wants the job,
so
because
great.
that's the guy.
Yeah.
When you have somebody that fears nothing but the Lord, dude, that's the dude that
So
can
good.
move the mountain.
100%.
That's the dude that can move the mountain.
Yeah, I love
So I
that.
agree. Let's jump into your book, bro, because you got to catch a plane.
Yeah,
Talk to me about
I
this.
got about 25 minutes, so yeah.
Why did you write this book?
So one of the things that I just feel really passionate about is teaching people how to heal irreversible conditions. Because, I think about this, like my mom, when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, she was diagnosed, the doctor said, yeah, you can't cure this without chemo and radiation. It's the only thing you can do. And later on, when my mom had lung cancer, they said the same thing. And we said, you know what? No, we believe that the body has an amazing capacity to heal, and we're going to reverse this using all natural approach. By the way, my mom, this past weekend, I was with her in Tennessee. She was water skiing. I'll show you the video. Water skiing at 75 years old.
What?
Crushing it.
God.
Amazing. My dad, same thing. My dad was trick skiing here at 76, and they're doing incredible. So I saw that reverse. People come in with autoimmune disease. Most doctors say, oh, you can't reverse that. I see people reversing it all the time. One of my best friends, Jordan Rubin, he reversed cancer, naturally testicular cancer. I had a condition where I was told I may never walk again. 3 years ago, I had the spinal infection, didn't walk for a year, terrible pain. The doctor said, we're going to have to go in and probably fuse your spine. And now I'm 100%, zero pain, better than I was before. So I wanted to write a book to really walk people through, here's exactly how you can radically heal.
You went through that pain, man. And I think the worst pain isn't the one that you go through. It's the one that you watch your loved ones go through. I've got punched. I've got kicked. I've got thrown around. Nothing hurt more to me than when she was going through something with her stomach and just sitting there in so much pain. And I would just get on my knees, and because she couldn't use the bathroom, she was in so much pain. And I would watch her bend over in pain, and I just start crying because there's nothing that I could do.
Yeah.
The pain that you went through watching your mother I don't even want to draw it up to imagine. But how good is our God that your mom is water skiing, and now you're on a podcast saying, look what my mother's doing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry you had to go through what you went through, but my God, like what a blessing it is to like look at her as an example, dude.
You know, it's even wild. My mom, she said this a couple years ago. She said, I'm glad I had cancer. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. She's like, it brought me closer to your dad. She said, I learned to number my days in terms of just being so grateful for every day. Like we started vacationing more, and just the other stuff that seemed like it mattered didn't matter anymore. Just the big stuff. So, God, to your point, God uses all things for good. Yeah. So yeah, pray. And by the way, even through my mom's suffering and my own infection, like I've learned how to help people heal. Like chronic infections is a really hard case. It's so much better now.
Dude, I remember when the disciples looked at a man who was ill and they said, what was it? Was it his sin or his father's sins? And Jesus says, no, this is for the glory of God.
Yeah.
And like, God, I'm getting so emotional already. Yeah, I can't cry on a podcast. I've already hit my limits this year. There's just something that needs to be said, that when God says that the meek and the broken, they're the ones that everybody looks up to when it comes to like, oh man, I need to relax. There's a gentleman I'm interviewing soon. His name's Jamie. He's paralyzed. And when I was going through a crazy hurricane in my life, I turned to him and he preached to me, and it made me check myself. Like, yo, your problems are not problems. When he's describing his problems, it's lifted me up higher. I think Jamie's existence will do more than what I could ever do as a human being for others, just by what he's going through and his suffering and the way he preaches it and the way he teaches it. Wow. I brought him on stage and he told almost 2,000 people that was in the crowd, I'm happy that God put me through this.
Wow.
Imagine being a father, being scared, or being a new mom, and you're in your head, and then you watch this man stand shining so bright with Jesus, and you're like, my goodness. Like, that's why when in the gospel, God says, when you're going through your turbulence, praise God.
Yeah.
Your turbulence that you had in your home was just, I bet in the time was just so centered, like, yo, God, like, what's going on? Why would you do this? Why am I going through this? But little did we know that many households that were scared and didn't have a leader get to read your book, get to hear your wisdom. And through the house that was broken in your home, all these other houses were healed. And to me, it's just like, dude, how can we not praise God more and more?
It's so powerful. You know, I had this point, and there are a few times where there were books like I wouldn't have read unless I was going through this, and things that I had really just contemplated that was so powerful. One of the things I prayed to God, I said, God, would you not only heal me physically, but refine me spiritually and mentally as I go through this process. Make me a better father. Let me walk more humbly before you. And, you know, so when I was at my worst, I was feeling just really bad. I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. And I was on social media and I read this quote from somebody, and there were several times, it just caused me to weep. And because I was having a moment of like, why me? And the quote said this, and it's an ancient proverb, and it said, I wept because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. And I was like, okay, I'm in bed right now, and I know at some point I'm going to be able to walk to some degree again, but there are some people that are paralyzed. There are some people that are going to die. There are some people that are, so I think, so much is perspective. I think just being able to like really live in this, and also just living in a state of gratitude, because one thing I would do every day, and by the way, my mom did, and I think this is such an important part of her healing cancer, is just daily, just worshiping and thanking God, just saying, thank you, God, for healing me right now. So what you were doing, you even said this, even before we talked, you were saying, God, you are healing me. Thank you right now. But praising him in advance, man, that's powerful. That's about the most powerful thing you can do to heal.
Yeah.
Like David, when we ask, we assume it's done.
That's right. That's faith.
Faith. It's assuming it's done. I can't tell you enough, man. I was praying, again, these are my eyewitnesses, but the one thing I panic more isn't where I'm at in my life. It's like, dude, how much more time do I have with my dad? Like, how much more time do I have with my mom? They're healthy, right? And one day, I asked God, I go, God, this can't be healthy, man. Like, I'm really panicking about this. Like, I get really worried. And immediately, like, when he touched my brain, it wasn't audible, but God goes, dude, you would not have the relationship that you have if you didn't fear this. Because there's so many people that are like, yeah, I see my mom and dad once a year. And I'm like, once a year? I go, bro, one day you're not going to, like, whatever you're working on right now, is it that important that one day they're going to be gone? And I see my parents every single day if I can. And when I'm with them, I felt like I time traveled back. It's like God put so much fear in my heart about one day that I'm not going to be able to hang out with them, that when I'm with them, I felt it so much that I felt like I got a second chance. And now I'm hanging out with them young. And I'm the one that's like, guys, let's go to Italy, dude. Like, Dad, you're working too much. You got to do this when you're young.
Yeah.
Pushing this stems from fear. And God says, if you fear the Lord, it is the beginning of wisdom.
You know, I had something really impact me. A few things a few years ago. One, so when I was living in Puerto Rico, this is just a little over 2 years ago.
For taxes?
Yeah, well, we moved there just for a couple years. Actually, it was right next to us. A few doors down was one of the Paul brothers.
Oh, you're doing really well.
Jake. Yeah.
My man's doing real well.
He was, by the way, it was so funny because he was wanting to move in there's different subdivisions in this neighborhood. And he was wanting to buy a home. It was like 28 homes in this little subdivision we were in. And he was going to maybe buy one. All of the neighbors went to the neighbor who was selling their house and said, do not sell your house to Jake Paul, because they were so worried for his infamous parties. Yeah. So they're like, please, no. Like, I mean, there was such a ruckus about it.
It's such a peaceful place. Like it's.
Do you remember the frakuke? Like the frogs that do that all night?
Oh yeah.
I was like, what the heck is going on?
Oh yeah. But so when we were in Puerto Rico, Chelsea's parents were living with us.
Yep.
And and her and my dad, like her dad and I were like, he was like my best friend. He was an amazing mentor, amazing man of God. We were pastors for a while, and I go away for a trip, just a 24-hour trip, and I'm flying back that morning, and Chelsea calls me, and I'm like, hey, what's wrong? Why are you being so quiet? And she goes, give me a sec. You're gonna have to give me a minute. I'll pull it together.
Take your time.
But she goes, my dad died. And I was in total just disbelief, because he was 60 years old. And they were living with us, and like we had plans to move back to Nashville, get them a house next door. We did everything together, and we had our daughter Arwen and Aylin, our second daughter, was just born a few months before, and he was like a 10 out of 10 grandpa, amazing. And but it just really caused me to just also look at like my relationship with my own parents. And, there's this I remember Jordan Peterson posting something about this, about his own dad. And he said, I probably hang out with my dad 4 times a year. And he's, somewhere in his 80s. And he likely has, he's like, I probably have, I'll probably hang out with my dad like 10 more times total. So all that being said, it just really hit me what you shared with your parents, because I think that especially if you've had great parents. Yeah.
I think the world could get so cold and dark, and the thought of not being able to go and talk. But that's what makes it worth it now, Like if we didn't have that, we wouldn't cherish it.
Yeah.
If your mom didn't have cancer, I don't think she would be alive. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's a thing that God does, but what gives me a lot of peace is that I really do believe that He conquered death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does your mom and dad believe in Jesus?
Oh yeah.
I think that's what I anchor onto.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But you know what, man? Like, when you look at your kids and they look up at you, it's such a blessing that you get. It's a piece of you. So of course, when you're looking up, it's just a bloodline, and I think that it's good that you and I have this type of heart, because I think if God didn't give us it, we'd be so obsessed with our work.
Yeah.
That when the time comes and you get that call, it's already too late.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that you and I are able to feel this now.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. Because
Yeah.
I think that God's blessing us, and this is the hardest thing to say out loud, but I ask God to show me mercy, that when it's time for them to leave, that I'm ready to say goodbye, and I'll meet them again,
Yeah.
Because I see like my mom deal with it, because she was best friends with her dad, and the way she's dealing with is 1,000 times better than I had ever thought.
Yeah.
And she always tells me it's through the grace of God. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going through with you and your dad, but I pray peace over it.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, we have, I have such great parents. Chelsea's mom and her dad was just amazing Christian people. So when we're at the funeral, there's this element of, just to your point, peace and joy of knowing He's with His Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
I'd never really lost anybody that close to me who was such a part of every single day, everything we were doing, who had added so much value to my life. And so there's definitely a sense of like a loss and a hole of, wow, he's not here. But as a Christian, there is this great sense of just joy and happiness. I also felt a greater sense of challenging of myself to be better and more like him. I will say this. I told him this once. After we got married, I got married to Chelsea. I told, like, he was the dad that would go, and if his daughters were flying out at 6 a.m., he would wake up at 4 a.m. and go fill up their car with gas. Like, he always made sure both his daughters and his wife, they always had their car filled with gas. Like, he'd go on mission trips, but he'd be the person that would like carry all the bags. I mean, he was like the servant's heart to a T. And so I told him after about a year of marriage, I'm like, Joel, like, he would do certain things. I'm like, Joel, I'd always tell him, like, dude, you're making me look bad in front of everybody. And I was honestly like, it was like a compliment. It was also somewhat serious. I'm like, dude, you're like making me look bad all the time. Because he would just rush to help people all the time. And so when he I shared this at his funeral. I said, one of my life goals is to be more like Joel, to be that selfless and conscious of the needs of others. So I almost felt like there was a step of like, I needed to step up and do everything I can to help fill that void of him not being here, and just in terms of like his level of just selflessness. And so, I mean, and that's just a prime example of, man, God just uses all things for good. He can convict us. He can change us. He uses, especially the pit. When you're at the bottom, it's like the only place you can look is up, and I think that, and I think, so to bring it back to like what you were talking about, is like, when I was at the lake this last weekend with my parents, it was the same thing. I am very conscious of, they're in their mid and late 70s, and it's like, I want to cherish every moment with them. What else is interesting? Like, I was just on a podcast talking about this, is, the longest longevity study to date, that what extends somebody's life is close family and close community. It's the number one thing. It's more important than what you eat. It's more important than good sleep. Having really close family that's there to support you and cheer you on and encourage you, single most important thing, to be healthy.
Like, somebody told me that like men live in their 70s now, and my dad just had his 70th birthday party. And to be honest, the reason I even moved here was just so I could spend more time. Like, so I could, if I go do comedy, I'll stay here. And now when we'll be laughing. Oh God, dude, you got me. It sucks because I can't cry until next year. That's my, but, yesterday he was here 2 days ago. He was here. I don't know when it was, but we were laughing in the backyard, and he was just like, he gives me shit. He makes me want to be better. Right. Like, he pushes me. And he's laughing in front of me, holding a cigar. And I looked at him, and I prayed to God. I was like, I hope I don't forget this. I think the thing that scares me the most is that we're so obsessed with what's going on that like, I think about last year, and it's hard for me to put together memories that we did. Like, I have to oh yeah, we did do that. Like, and so now, like, I asked my wife, I go, yo, if you see me on my phone, tell me to get off. Yeah. Like, tell me to get the off my phone. Like, I don't want to bury my family one day and have to only know them through pictures and videos on my phone. Like, I should be able to close my mind and be like, oh, I remember this day. We were hanging out here. We were doing that. And I just, you know what it is, man? I'm really glad you shared me that story about getting that call and getting caught off guard, because people live so selfishly nowadays that when they get that call and it's too late, it's hard for them to, you had a good relationship. What a blessing. Yeah. Imagine you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, they're so, and I want to make sure that I say this right. They want to honor their mother and father so much that they bury themselves in work. They bury themselves in school just to honor their mom and dad. But then they get that call and they can't even show them that work. Yeah. Jeremy Piven. when I first met him, I like, man, this guy's a piece of work, bro. Like, this guy's an actor. He's a very dramatic human being. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, dude, like, I don't know if me and him are going to be like chill. 10 minutes in, he brought up his mom. And me and him just talked about, we were sitting there crying over our moms. And when his mom passed away and I reached out to him, I said to him, like, dude, how beautiful is, because his mom and him work together. She would be his acting coach.
Oh, wow.
He would be I go, how blessed are you that your mom saw you make it? Imagine she wasn't there.
Yeah.
Imagine they did all that work. He was working hard to honor her. And then he gets that call. And he can't even, so now he worked all these hours away from her and now he can't. So that's where my brain was always at. Like, okay, I'm going to live here. If I'm going to chase my dreams, I'm at least not going to forsake the last dream that God gave me.
Yeah.
Because like somebody told me one day, I was having like a bad day and I was getting really angry. And he was a very happy guy. And I was like, dude, like, how do you keep yourself like always sharp? Because I want to be that. Because I think a good man isn't always, a good man is a good man when he's good under bad circumstances.
Yeah,
not just
exactly.
only when he's good. Because that's just a man who's spoiled. And he said, what I do is I write down 5 blessings that the Lord gave me. And everything else I have to give back to him.
Yeah.
And he goes, all the ones that you worry about are not even the ones on the piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's the mom, it's the dad, it's the health.
Yeah,
it's
it's
all
so
this
good.
stuff. So I'm glad we're having this conversation because we live in a generation where people are like always trying to chase the future, but the present is a gift.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I think part of what I think now is just like take care of it now. Like I, to be honest, with my father-in-law, I just thought, hey, he's 60, he's healthy. Like you know, and we can't change the past, but like going back, I'm like, I would have done more. Like for instance, like I would have done blood work. You know, like I would have done more things consciously.
You don't rest that on you,
I don't
dude.
live there. No, I let that go. Did I for a couple months after? Yeah, for sure. But I definitely let go of that now. But anything, I think the thing is,
I just want to remind you though, because it might be still a mustard seed in you that grows once in a while. Your mother isn't here from your wisdom. Your mother's here because God gave you the wisdom at the time.
Yeah, that's good.
So
Yeah.
if God wanted him home, he wanted him home. If he didn't want him home, he would have raised you up and told you to do what you did for your mother.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is just also being like, I'm more conscious of others now. Like, you know, it's just, I'm more conscious of, and also trying to look a little bit into the future and say, hey, let's to your point, let's start making more precious memories. Let me do things right now when we're water skiing and, hey, my dad's sitting there, let me go. Put my arm around him, spend time with him, connect with him, and just, you know, maximize those moments because they're not going to be here forever.
Since we're already here crying together, my roommate, her name's Simi. Every time I hug my mom and dad, I always have to be the last one to hug them. Like if she hugs them, I'm like, I have to be the last one to give them a hug. And I hope this episode makes you call your parents. Simi asked me, and I said it so naturally because it's just been something I've been doing. And she started crying when I said this. She says, why do you hug them for so long? You hug them for so long. And I go, yeah, because in the moment when I'm hugging them, in the beginning, they're talking and I can't hear it. And she goes, what are you listening to? I go, when I hug them really tight, I hold it for 30 seconds longer so I could feel and hear their heartbeat. Because I just know that. I know it sounds cheesy, but when I was in audio engineering school, they would record a heartbeat, and they would show us this is the first sound God gave man, like.
Oh, wow.
And so when I'm holding them, it's the first, like in my brain, the first breath in them is God's breath, and the first sound the body makes is the heartbeat.
Wow.
So when I'm hugging them, I realize that I can't hear this heartbeat from somebody else. This is only their heartbeat. And so like I literally hug them and put my ear up against their chest and I just hear their heartbeat. And every time I do that, I always tell myself, you're a blessed man. You could hear your father's heartbeat today.
Man, that's so good. It's so good. You know, my dad said this to me, and this blew me away, actually. And he said this to me just about a month ago. So my dad said, I wish I would have spent even more time with you kids. Now, that's coming from my dad who never missed a soccer. Like my dad, I played games, basketball, soccer, ran track, and I had probably, 5,000 games. I mean, and even practices, my dad never missed a single game. Was there every one. That's such dedication. He spent so much time with us. And for my dad to say, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you were like with us so much. But like to get the end of your life and like that's the thing you want the most is I wish I would have spent even more time with my family. It allowed me to just like evaluate even more and just be even more present with like, man, spending time with God, spending time with family, you're never going to regret that.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's I like this, bro, because when I see you, I always tell people like, you could preach the gospel with your mouth, but your actions are really what preaches the gospel. And seeing you being so fit, it matches you because your brain is so fit. Your brain is pointed to the right things, and I just want to applaud you for that, man. Like you're in a generation that's fully distracted. And my mom and dad raised me to say this, like if the devil can't destroy you, he'll distract you. I watched through you, the devil try to destroy you. Couldn't do it. Yeah. Try to distract you. Couldn't do it. So I just want to applaud you, man. You're going through a lot that will help other men, and you're not even patting yourself on the back for it, but we see it. And I just want to give you your. But before you leave, who do you want to buy your book? Is it specifically for everyone, or is there a specific person that you're trying to reach to?
No, I really wrote it for anyone. Anybody who's saying to themselves, I want to live a long, healthy life. It's focused on longevity. It's focused on if you have a condition. I put together the exact protocols to reverse and heal those conditions. So it's really a lot of in-depth nutrition and herbs and things like that. Just getting into how do you heal? Here's exactly how you heal. Different conditions and promote longevity. And I think anyone, especially Christians, can benefit who saying, hey, I want to run my best race. I want to glorify God with my body. I think it'll be a positive impact.
But let me ask you, because you had your other book, The Biblio Diet, which is a book that I love. I'm about halfway through reading it. And, I told you I've written a lot of notes because you have so much beautiful gold information in there.
Yeah.
So what would you say is maybe the key difference between The Biblio Diet and this book?
I would say The Biblio Diet is just the foundations of what the Bible says about health. And I would say that's step one. And Heal Yourselves is sort of step two in terms of it's more advanced. Heal Yourselves.
Okay. Amazing.
Cool.
Yeah. You guys are the best. I really love you guys. I mean, you guys have such an amazing ministry. You're helping so many people. And I think God is going to use you guys in a way to continue to disciple a generation and help them become all they were made to be. So just know, again, I'm such big fans of yours. Thanks so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
Thank you so much.
And dude, I really appreciate you. And this guy isn't just talk, man. Like I would call him scared about my health. And I want to say this, and this is why my mom and my dad, my wife and my sister lined up behind me to talk to you. After you were done teaching me about my body, you heard every problem that I had. And then after you put all the business aside and you sat and you prayed on me. You prayed over me in my financing. You prayed over me in my health. You prayed over me in my wife. And then you went into the nitty gritty of my cells and you prayed over them. Dude, you are a walking blessing. And we appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
truly so much.
1,000,000%.
Your son is in a very blessed state, and your father is in a very blessed state, dude.
Thanks so much. Love you guys.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
Thanks.